All right, hey everyone. Thanks for joining again in this series of streams. Today's going to be the final one, upgrading this application, adding some tests, and today we're going to add CI through GitHub Actions, and we'll use Shift to do that. Before getting started, I merged this test generator yesterday. Again, we only have a handful of tests. That part of the stream, was a little tangential. We took 2 or 3 days doing that. There were some refactors in there. There was some rabbit holes kind of figuring out how the storage path worked and all that kind of stuff in the application. This is an old application. It was Laravel 5.6. It doesn't necessarily use modern things, and as such, it was a little bit difficult to test some areas. So there needed to be a little bit of rewriting to make those tests a bit tighter, make those things a bit easier to look at and review and test. So, but it's worth noting that, the very first stream on Monday, in an hour, we had this thing upgraded from Laravel 7 to Laravel 11. And honestly, it's such a small application, I could have given it back to the client in staging, done a half hour of testing, and really just verified manually that these things worked. But I thought it'd be nice to showcase not only Shift, but writing some tests. Because, we don't test enough is just the hard truth of programmers. We don't test our stuff. So now that we do have some tests, though, and I've merged this in, what I'd like to do is go back to this Laravel upgrade branch, and let's add some CI. And of course, there is a shift for this. So let's go use that shift. The shift doesn't get run that often because by nature, it's not like the upgrade shifts where it actually runs, a lot by a lot of applications, but also frequently, right? There's an upgrade, once a year. It's being run through all sorts of applications throughout the year. And I get a lot of feedback, a lot of testing on it. Whereas the CI generator, it's kind of one and done, right? You're gonna implement your CI if you're even doing that, and you're really only going to do it once. You're not going to come back and run this for each version. So because of that, I don't necessarily get a lot of feedback. I expect because of that, and this being kind of a new project and some new things, that we might run into some issues. So we will get this running and passing in GitHub Actions in this stream. So that's kind of the goal. So we'll see how long it takes us, hopefully just a half hour or so. All right, this shift doesn't run necessarily, or doesn't take very long to run. So let's kind of take a look at this. Okay, so shift was unable to detect any required PHP extensions within your composer.json. So it just kind of added the default ones. Yeah, there's nothing I'm doing in this application. It doesn't have like extension Redis or extension, international or any of that stuff, with it. So that's all good. That's all fine. But little note there that if you do have required extensions, the shift will try to put them into your build, the image that it uses. But again, not too sure. So shift detected you have a Laravel application, but didn't have a specific code style. So it used Pint. Great. I'm fine with that. So let's just remove that. Shift configure jobs to use MySQL 8. You may adjust this. Okay, MySQL 8 is great. In fact, that's what they're upgrading to. That's part of the reason the client reached out to me. So that's all good. Shift configured Composer to use Composer auth environment variable if your project contains private dependencies. It does not. So that's fine, but we can use that. Shift configure your jobs to use the official PHP image. But if you're familiar with Docker, of course, you can use a pre-built environment. Don't need that. I'm fine with just the PHP images. Shift configures GitHub Actions cache. Ooh, that looks like a little bit of a typo there. Let me just take a screenshot of this and I'll fix that in Shift after this stream. So again, little nuances like that get, someone will email me about that and all of the people that are using the upgrade shifts. But because, again, this one's not necessarily run that often, someone may not bother to send that in. Okay, so it's still using my cache. Yeah, that's a bit of a nuanced thing. Okay, I think this is good. Let's run through. It looks like lint is failing. So let's run through and see what's going on with this. Okay, so according to this, some of these things Some of these things are incorrect. That's strange. Oh, you know what it is? This always happens. There is a newer version of when we set up PHP. See, there's Pint 162. That's one of the things about CI. When Pint has new versions, you'll get a lot of new default code styles in there, and then of course your stuff will fail against that. So let's go back here and see what version of Pint we're running. So yeah, see, we're only a minor release behind 1.16.1, but the CI used 1.16.2. So composer global update Laravel Pint. I think I have to do -w. Nope. Is it local? No, that should be global. Whatever, I can just update everything. It's not a big deal. Laravel shift CLI. Okay, fine. Why isn't... It's always something. Why isn't this getting picked up? Composer global show Laravel Pint. It's claiming that it's running 16.2. Which Pint am I using? Which Pint? Yeah, it should be running that. That's very strange. Pint -- version. This says 1.16.1, but my... Whatever. Let's just run Pint on everything. See if it catches anything. It is catching stuff. Okay, strange. Anyway, let's that. We got to get on this branch, so git checkout. Let's start fixing this and getting this to run. So let's go check out this branch. So it's a shift branch. So we'll do git checkout that, git fetch first. There we go. Clear that. Now we'll run Pint. Okay, so git add -u, git commit -m. I just say Pint, git push. All right, that should re-trigger this to run. Hopefully, maybe. Okay, so hopefully Pint will pass now, which is good. Let's take a look at the jobs that it built for us though, just to make sure all this looks good. So real quick, it's basically checking our syntax with this PHP lint. That's good. So it's just going to loop over everything, make sure it looks all good. And then it's going to run, check the code style. That's good. So next, it's going to go through this. It's just going to use, again, Ubuntu PHP 8.2. So let's go ahead and bump that to 8.3. Again, give the client the latest, greatest. We're going to install MySQL 8 and give us kind of a production-ready environment. That's key. Don't just use SQLite. Okay, we're going to prepare it by copying over our env. We're going to attempt to cache our Composer directory stuff. I think they're on v4 now. I'll have to check that. We're going to generate an application key, and then we're going to run tests with the production database. Or sorry, the MySQL database. What did it fix here? Oh, these are our changes. Okay, two things I want to do while this is running in the background. Let's go ahead and bump to 8.3, and then we'll see if what all is failing or passing. So let's get back in our editor, which of course is not open. PHP Storm. I heard some chat. Let's see what's going on here. Hey, how's it going? Kuse? I'm terrible with international names. I apologize. Kusa? Not sure. Anyway, hello. Okay, let's jump into, not that. There should be, there it is. There should be this. So let's change this to 8.3. Good to go. Let's change this to 8.3. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and break this out into this. That way I could also say 8.4. I'm not going to do that right this minute, but I could add 8.4 there kind of once we're all done. So let's fix this real quick. Git add -u, git commit -m, bump CI to PHP 8.3. Let's push that up. And let's go back and see if that previous job had passed. Let's go down here. Hey, look at that. We ran Pint and Pint passed, both the lint and the test. Let's make sure it's running our tests. So let's go down here, run tests. So PHP artisan test, all good. I think because I'm still using PHP unit and not pest, I don't see a need to run artisan test directly. I like the kind of simple dot output. I think I can get that PHP artisan test -- help. I think I can tell it like compact. Maybe compact is what we're after. Compact. Yeah, I'm fine with compact. Let's change the CI to run compact while we're messing around. Just a little cleaner, right? I don't necessarily want to see the whole thing in CI. It's kind of a lot to look at in my opinion. So let's just change this to -- compact. That's just a personal preference. Not something I would change in the generator itself. Whoops, -u is what I'm trying to say. Git commit -m, compact, or lessen verbosity of test output. Let's push that back up. Okay, I fully expect all this to continue running, hopefully. So let's go back to our pull requests. It should now be running that. We got a checkbox on bump, so if this passes, then hey, we're done. It's running our tests. We generated that, and you know what? We're done. 8 minutes. We added CI to our project, right? Couple tweaks, couple customizations. There's more you could do here. You could add Redis as a service. You could tweak that test environment to really run as much or as little as you want. So I think this is good. That should pass here in just a second. Cool, so lint passed, 29 seconds. And notice that they're running in parallel. That's kind of why I break up those two tests into different workflows, is because you'll get kind of that parallel bit for free. You can trigger things to run parallel, but it's just more YAML to write. So let's go check out this test detail while we're waiting. Seems like it already finished. It just hasn't updated the little spinner. There we go. And let's just see our little test output. Perfect. 14 tests passed. Great. So we're getting some stuff that auto passes the simple unit tests that look at our form requests and make sure like our controller actions are wired up. And then again, we didn't write many, but we did write about 4 or 5 tests ourselves for the critical features of the application. So those were done in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday streams. So great, this is passing. Of course, I could go back and fill in all of those I's and you know, make them not be incomplete or skipped tests. But again, I'm testing the critical bit of the application, and I'm making sure that my, you know, general code style, I'm not introducing something simple like a syntax error, and the code just, you know, follows what I like it to follow, in this case, the Laravel code style. We're running 8.3. If the IT comes to me and says, hey, we want to run 8.4, I can just jump in CI. In fact, let's just see if that works real quick. We got a minute with this. This worked a lot faster than I thought. So let's just go here and let's bump in 8.4. And let's see. I don't even know if that's available, to be honest. Let's just try. Git commit -m, try 8.4. I'll probably revert this, but let's just see if it works real quick while we're hanging out. So there we go. Let's see. It should, yeah. So see, it builds a 8.3 and an 8.4 now. So let's see if it runs on 8.4. I don't even know if that's an image, to be honest. We'd have to find out, but it's worth a try. While we're waiting on that, there is one more thing I want to look at. GitHub Action Cache. I think they're on v4 now. Yeah, v4. Let's make sure that we have this looking correct. Okay, let's go take a look at that while we're waiting on the CI to run. So down here we said, oh, we do have v4. Where did it have v3? Oh wait, no, that was checkout. Sorry, cache. There it is. Cache should be v4. And what does it say to do? With path, prime numbers, key, blah, blah, blah. I don't think we need much there. Restore prime cache, actions cache, restore v4. I think there's a ready to use example with this guy's stuff. So let's go look at his stuff. He's got some really nice examples here. I typically look at his stuff. Yeah, cache composer dependencies. Here we go. So he's using v4. Let's just pull this. So we'll take that. It's kind of the same stuff. I think it's just in a different order. So here we go. We'll just compare this to what we're about to put in here. So let's pull this over. There it is, good indentation. Oh, say we have this git composer, cache, echo, so that's basically the same. That's fine. And then setup composer cache, I think I'll keep my name over cache dependencies. Okay, we got the v4, that's what we want. And then with, let's just make sure these line up. So output, composer, hash files on the lock. Mine has the star star. I don't know why I would need that, so let's just make it look the same. And then runner OS composer is the restore key. Okay, cool. And then when we go to install, again, I'm not using composer auth, that's fine. And then I like to have this stuff. What does he have? Preferred? Yeah, preferred dist. We're good. And then what do they have here? Install. So that should be good. Please note, do not cache vendor folder. Great. Okay, if you do not commit the composer lock file, you can use a hash of composer JSON as the key for your cache. Do I commit the composer lock? I forget how to test that. It's like git ignore. You can find out if you ignore a file, but I'm not going to mess with that real quick. Let's just cat this out. It doesn't seem like I ignore composer lock, so I think I should be able to, yeah, I commit it, so we're good. All right, let's change that up while we're waiting. Git add -p. Okay, so we just changed it to v4. That's great. We had a little space there, no problem. So all we really did was bump it to v4. That's fine, but I just wanted to compare because, again, I don't write these very often. So bump action, git push. And let's see how that 8.4 did real quick while we're waiting. Okay, 8.4 failed. We kind of expected that. It probably can't find that particular image. Oh, okay. Net is locked. Okay. So, okay. There are things that are not compatible with 8.4 yet when we're going to run composer install. There are things that aren't compatible. This version is locked. Is it not compatible because of the cache? Run actions, cache restore successful. That makes me a little bit nervous. See, I commit the lock file. The lock file is going to have stuff for 8.3 because that's what my environment's running, my local environment. And because it restored the cache, it would lead me to believe that this cache, these actually might work for 8.4, but it pulled the 8.3 cache, and these versions were locked at that. So, I feel like the thing to do is to probably base the cache on the PHP version and the OS is probably the right thing to do. Let's go check that page here while we're waiting, because I bet you if you support a range of composer dependencies and use prefer lowest and prefer stable options, you can store them in the matrix. Okay, we don't necessarily use a range of dependencies, but we do use different dependencies based on the environment. Part of me feels like I shouldn't commit the composer lock file. Does he have anything in here about matrix? Matrix setup. Doesn't have anything in here about the matrix setup, I don't think. And we're already using, yeah, we're already using that. I think it's worth tracking this down for a second. Let's see if we can get this to run. Because it does have an image, which is cool. Where else does he have matrix on this page? There's a lot. So let's find out. Matrix speech, does he do anything else? Here we go. Yes, okay, this is where we were a minute ago. Let's put this in here. Let's put this in here. So we'll change our cache directory to be the runner OS composer dash matrix PHP dash version. All right, and then we would need to restore it the same way. And then down here, I don't know why we do no scripts. It seems like we probably shouldn't say no scripts, because it should reload. It should reload the stuff within Laravel. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get rid of no scripts. It's obviously running, so it's not a huge deal, but I think no scripts is probably wrong. Okay, now the issue is I commit the lock file. So by default, the lock file is going to, I think I shouldn't do it on the lock file. I think I should do it on JSON. And part of me feels like the easiest thing to do would be to get rid of the lock file if I want to run on multiple environments. So here's what I'm going to do temporarily. We're going to do this. Git add dot git commit dash m base cache on PHP version. And then the other thing I'm going to do is git rm composer lock. All right. So now I'll commit this as remove lock file. Let's see if this runs. What I would expect is I would expect them both to now have cache misses because we changed its key and all that kind of stuff. And ideally, both of the jobs 8.3 and 8.4 run. Now, if there's an incompatibility due to a package not being 8.4 ready, then that's fine. I mean, I guess technically speaking, 8.4 hasn't been released. So I don't want to push this too far, but I think it's worth exploring for a minute. So let's see how this runs. Again, this was all running fine on 8.3 and 8.4, or sorry, 8.3 with Pint. So we can see here we were totally fine. Once we started doing other stuff, it started breaking. So let's see if we can get it back to a passing state with 8.4. I think that'd be cool just to know. Again, why not? That's the power of CI. I don't have to set this all up locally and whatever. So it's running on 8.3, good. Let's see if it runs on 8.4. If it does, I'll just leave the lock file removed. I don't think for projects like this it's necessary to commit the lock file. I mean, okay. So we still have some issues. Yeah, require 7.1 to 8.8.3 PHP version 8.4 dev. So it seems as though if you go look, let's just see if this is legit. Let's go look at, so satisfiable. Where's the one? Okay, so it seems that this netty schema, let's go see if this is true. Does netty schema have a restriction below? No, see, it says 8.4. Oh, but they restrict it. So league requires schema 1.2. There you go. So this is fine because master is 2.0, right? Or 1.3. Caret 1.2 should pull 1.3. Let's keep looking. I think we got to go farther down that dependency chain here. So netscheme 1.3, PHP, your version. See, that's not true. Maybe it hasn't been tagged. Maybe that hasn't been tagged. Let's see what 1.3 requires. Yeah, see, there you go. So that's a legit constraint issue. It doesn't have to do with the composer lock file necessarily. So yeah, master if we pulled from master. So that's just a problem. Again, 8.4 is not out yet. So I think the thing to do for now, since 8.4 is not out and we see that our dependencies aren't working, and again, this was a nice little quick test in CI. I mean, it only took us an extra 5 or 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and back a couple of these things out. The bump action's fine. The base this on cache version's fine. The removal of the lock file, I probably don't want to do anymore. So let's revert this. So we'll do git revert that. So we're going to revert the try. What else do we have here? We don't need that anymore. And then we probably don't want to remove the lock file anymore. So yeah, I'll revert this. Do the same thing here. And then what else do we want to do? What did we do on this? I just want to make sure we didn't do anything. We no longer do it based on the lock file. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with using composer.json. So that way CI kind of gets a fresher build. I'm okay with that, I think. But yes, in general, I do agree with what Samuel said in the comments. If you're doing some kind of build and then you're deploying that to production, which I'm doing in this case, I don't have direct server access. So I make a build, an archive here, and I give it to the client. And so for those reasons, I do like the fact that this project, I would commit the lock file. Now, if I have a automated deployment and access to the server and all that kind of stuff, then honestly, I don't commit the lock file because I know that whatever production is running is the latest because that's part of the deployment. It's all automated. I don't really have to think about it. If it's not running in CI, it's not going to run in production. But in the case of, again, this particular project, the bundling, I'm going to go ahead and put that log file back. So let's push these two reverts up. Let's see everything pass. Again, we should just be back to lint and 8.3 now. We are good. So as long as we get a green thumbs up here, I'm going to go ahead and probably just squash merge this to remove some of the noise. But let's give this, 45 seconds or so and see if it passes. If so, then yeah. I mean, we got CI set up, in less than 10 or 15 minutes. We spent 10 minutes or so seeing if we could test out 8.4, just kind of an eye to the future. Unfortunately, some of the packages aren't yet tagged to be stable for that Laravel depends upon. So we just pulled that back out. And as long as we get a checkbox right here, I'm going to hit this little merge button. We'll see. It's probably, again, we're not basing it off the log file anymore, so it's taking an extra second or two because it's actually downloading. It's probably downloading those dependencies. There we go. All checks have passed. See, this is a beautiful thing about CI. Everything's green. I feel even more confident now to hit this button. Even if I just had, checking for, lint and checking for code style, and I didn't necessarily have a test suite, I think CI is still worth it. It just makes sure you didn't make any no-brainer, mindless little things, right? You left off a semicolon or something, or you messed up your commit or something. You know what happens. So I'm going to squash merge this. So we'll squash merge, CI generator, get rid of all that crap. And this is going to the Laravel upgrade branch. So for this client, just to kind of put a bow on everything, what I'll do next is I'm going to go back to basically this Laravel upgrade branch. I'm going to run git archive. Git archive is going to create a zip for me, and I'm going to give that to the client to put onto staging. Once that's up there, I'll be able to kind of go in and verify the application is working within their new upgraded environment, and then I'll tell the client to do their own checks. But I can feel pretty confident with my test suite that it's already working. I'll just kind of go in and make sure that the site actually loads and I can log in. And from there, I'll let the client look at it because I can trust these tests that I wrote for the most critical feature, which is what they're going to be checking as well. So once that's all good, I'll merge this into master and, there you go. I'll wait 5 years for them to come back to me again and want to upgrade to, PHP 9 or whatever at that point in time. So Anyway, thanks everyone for joining these streams live all week. Maybe I'll do something like this again. Let me know if you enjoyed in the comments, YouTube, hit me up on Twitter, whatever. Maybe I'll do another kind of week stream again that's focused on a particular goal. But anyway, thanks again. Enjoy the weekend.